Hello, welcome to the Interreg Northern Periphery and Arctic Program tutorial. My name is Christopher Parker, Program Manager for the Northern Periphery and Arctic Program, and I'll describe for you today Priority 2 Essentials. Priority 2 for us is a very special priority because it deals with changing and the changing climate and resource efficiency. And in Priority 2, we're very keen on strengthening the capacity for communities for climate change adaptation, resource sufficiency in our communities in the Northern Periphery. We have three specific objectives that we're approaching. One is dealing with promoting energy efficiency and reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Our second specific objective is that of promoting climate change adaptation and disaster risk prevention, leading to resilience in our communities and those systems being taken up as a basis for approaching how to deal with adaptation and risk prevention. Our third specific objective in this priority is that of promoting the transition from a circular economy to a resource efficient economy. As mentioned, our first specific objective in this is that of promoting energy efficiency. And all of our territories have high energy needs. And this is linked primarily because we live in cold and climates with extreme conditions. And this in turn requires us to be a little smarter with our energy efficiency solutions, including smart energy storage. Of course, the lack of access to communities and hubs to drive, there is a need for us to develop community-based systems. For example, islands and remote areas have problems with energy resource efficiency. So here's a high potential for project developers to look and review and to then develop solutions dealing with renewable energy resources that can build on, as we've already started to develop in the Northern Periphery and Arctic area, the vast experience that we have and expertise in this area. Our second specific objective is that of promoting climate change and adaptation and disaster risk prevention resilience and taking into account ecosystems-based approach. The majority of the NP area is very vulnerable, and that the geographies, due to them being far apart and distant and mountainous areas, island areas compiled with climate change, creates an opportunity for us to encourage projects to come forward, dealing and looking at the adaptation and looking at resilience as a major challenge. So knowing that we have a specific nature and the needs of this area, we have a vast amount of experience in different people. We want projects to come together to support the transfer of knowledge and experience between the regions in the program area to create new transnational networks, along with, as I'll talk about very shortly, outputs and results. Our third specific objective deals with promoting the transition to a circular and resource economy. And here we're looking for new solutions and innovations to transform productive processes and change consumer behavior in the circular economy, which requires us to think about the territorial specifics, such as the impact of peripherality and extreme conditions in our climates. And some have recognized that there's issues with waste management, which is something that we find where there are distances and large distances and transportation becomes an issue. So, for example, waste of one of the many aspects that could be included in actions to create a circular economy. Our remote communities already have strengths in this area, tradition, for example, of self-reliance and reusing and repurposing. And therefore, the green, blue economies are already an integral part of the Northern Periphery and Arctic area. So we're looking for projects to come forward. And another reason for this is the importance of these sectors, the green and the blue economies, is that there is a high impact of pollution, and of course the environment in the Northern Pacific Arctic is very sensitive. So to do this, in specific objective 2.1, we're looking at types of actions that deal with the transfer and development of sustainable renewable energy generation and energy efficiency solutions. Another action could be that of facilitating the use of place-based energy surpluses and the development of smart energy management concepts in remote communities. In specific objective 2.2, the actions that we're looking for here is the transfer and development of solutions to facilitate the use of community knowledge and build the local capacity for climate change adaptation and risk prevention and disaster resilience in our communities. In priority 2, in specific objective 2.3, we're looking for the facilitation of the transfer and development of solutions that promote resource efficiency, end of waste, better use of byproducts in remote areas, facilitating the transfer and development of solutions for community planning for a circular economy in our remote areas, which, as we know, are sparsely populated. There's a number of groups that we'd like you to consider when writing your application, and here's a list, such as local and regional authorities, public infrastructure providers, interest groups, higher education and research organizations, education centers, entrepreneurs, find in SMEs, enterprises, business support organizations. Two groups that you may not have heard of, one is the European Grouping of Territorial Cooperation, international organizations, definitely. European grouping of interest groups, and we mustn't forget our general public and the hospitals and our medical centers. There is also other target groups you may come across in this specific objective and through the priority too, and we encourage you to include those as well. It goes without saying that all of our projects have to have outputs, and here we're looking for pilot actions developed and implemented in projects, organizations cooperating across borders, jointly develop solutions. And what's evident in these three output indicators, they are the same for all three of these specific objectives in this priority. So developing pilot action, jointly implemented in organizations cooperating across borders, and jointly develop solutions. Having done activities and deliverables and coming up with outputs, that all leads in our program knowledge to what we call result indicators. And here we're looking for, in all of the three specific objectives, joint strategies and action plans taken up by organizations, solutions taken up, and upscaled by organizations. These two resource indicators are reflective in all three of the specific objectives in priority 2. Where can you or I get more guidance? Well, we encourage you to go to our website to find out more detail about our priorities. And of course, a must-to document is that of our program manual, and these can be found on our website. I'd like to thank you on behalf of our team as we're producing these NPA Quick Start video series. Thank you for joining us.